Conqueror... never mind, let's not try to pronounce it. What's going on, my beautiful people? Here's a surprise video. I was scrolling through my Instagram, then I saw this Rise of Kingdoms post and realized that we do have a new commander, not in the game yet. I think he's going to be released in December, but it is pretty soon. First, we're going to take a look at his skills. Then we're going to talk about his possible pairings and if you should invest on this commander or not. I only saw his active skills, so I have no idea about his other skills. This means I'm going to need your help in the comment section down below. If I do get anything wrong or forget to mention an important thing, please let me know in the comment section down below. Now, his talent trees are leadership, versatility, and support. Versatility is basically the worst talent tree. Support is good, and the leadership tree is very situational. But as I said, I saw his first skill already, and I think support tree fits him if you want to use him as a primary, because what you want with this commander, since he reduces the damage taken of up to 5 nearby allies and increases the damage that you are going to deal, you obviously want him to cast his active skill before anybody else. Before your allies, your other marches, and the enemy, because if Philip does cast his active skill first, you are going to reduce the damage by other active skills from the enemy, and also of course you are going to boost the active skill damage of your other marches. So this guy needs to cast his active skill before anybody else. For the next 2 seconds, up to 5 nearby allied or friendly troops, including this commander's troop, take 10% less damage, deal 20% more damage. This effect of this skill are multiplied by 2 for this commander's troop. So for your Philip troop, you are going to take 20% less damage and you will deal 40% more damage, which is crazy. And here is the dilemma. Like from the first skill, it is a little bit complicated because he's a leadership commander, so his talent tree is not the best, but his active skill increases the damage of this specific march by 40%. So you want him to be primary, and as a secondary, you want to have a very hard-hitting march because that damage is going to be increased by 40%. So should he be the primary or the secondary? I mean, at least so far, it seems like somehow he needs to be the primary. But of course, in that case, we are going to have some problems with the equipment. Let's take a look at the other skills. Right, the second one, I think the one on the left, Sarissa. Cavalry units gain 35% attack, infantry gain 35% defense, and their archer gain 35% health, and troop gains 20% march speed. So regardless of the troop type that you are using, you're going to get 35% stats and 20% march speed. I wish this health was for infantry because infantry equipment is just only defense, a little bit of an attack, and the rest is complete defense. So if the infantry buff was 35% health, he would have been perfect. But no, it is defense, and for cavalry, it's attack. I think with this skill, I can safely say that now he's looking like really good for an archer march because archer health 35% plus the march speed 20%. The tankiness and the movement speed is basically what archer marches are missing. But overall, I think that is a pretty decent skill. Let's move on to the next one. Conqueror... never mind, let's not try to pronounce it. Whenever this commander's troop launches a basic attack, it has a 10% chance to deal direct damage up to 3 nearby enemy troops. So he does have an A... Wait, what? Damage factor 800. And every additional target reduces the damage by 15%. Okay, so the damage is already super low, and we are reducing it even more by 15%. I don't know. And oh, he does have a rage reduction. Reduce their rage by 100, cooldown 3 seconds. So basically with this skill, the damage factor is actually doesn't matter because what you are trying to do with this one is basically you are using it as the rage manipulation, as a rage debuff, and you are reducing their rage by 100 and cooldown is 3 seconds only. I would say this one is also, so far it looks like his kit is very good, but not game-breaking. Let's move on to the fourth skill. I swear to God, I cannot pronounce any of this. If this commander's troop contains at least 2 different unit types, it gains even more march speed, 15%, and takes 15% less damage. So this basically tells us to, however, in the field, like usually, that's what happens in garrison situations. You have multiple troop types in mixed garrisons, but for fields, 90% of the time you are using a single troop type. Okay, we have more. If their troop contains only 1 unit type, it deals 30% more damage. Oh my god. Okay, that is pretty good. You can surely use 1 unit type only and it deals 30% more damage. I think depending on your march, that's even better. Yes, you're not getting the extra march speed or damage reduction, but instead, you're getting 30% extra damage. That is actually great. I am very curious about his expertise. Whenever this commander uses their active skill, they have a 40% chance to use their active skill a second time. Oh, okay, sorry. So that is only for Philip. Whenever the other commander in their troop uses their active skill, This time they have a 20% chance. This skill can trigger once every 7 seconds. Okay, so this is a little bit weird because what I'm thinking is, are the cooldowns are attached to each other or they work separately? Is it possible to cast Philip's active skill and the other commander's active skill twice back to back, or if one of these two conditions happen, this immediately goes on to cooldown? I also think it will, so if either of this happens, it's going to go into a 7-second cooldown. Right, so this is a very interesting expertise. I immediately think about Joan of Arc, right? Because is it possible to just keep using your active skill almost constantly with Joan of Arc and Philip pairing? Because if we take a look at Joan of Arc, this one specifically says that whenever their troop's secondary commander uses an active skill, it has a 100% chance to trigger this commander's Sacred Banner skill. So what happens is, if you use Joan of Arc as a primary, she uses her active skill, and let's say Philip's 20% chance triggers, so she uses it again, and then Philip uses active skill, then this one comes into play, so Joan of Arc casts her active skill the third time. People will definitely try like these type of things, but the commander that I immediately started thinking is none other than Ashurbanipal. Because the thing about Ashurbanipal's expertise, it says whenever this commander's troop uses an active skill, it gains one of the following buffs for 4 seconds, chosen at random. This means more active skills that you use in your march, the more buffs that you are going to get, which is exactly what Ash wants. And recently when I was talking with other Rise of Kingdoms players on Discord, they told me that in Artifact KVKs, Ashurbanipal with Joan of Arc is actually a sick march just because Joan can cast her active skill twice every 10 seconds, and it works so well with Ashurbanipal's expertise. And I think the same situation happens with Philip. However, this time you don't need to be in an Artifact KVK because Philip is a leadership commander, so you can definitely use him with Ash. But then the problem is, since Philip's active skill is going to increase damage of the secondary commander by 40% for 2 seconds, so your secondary commander's active skill is going to hit like a truck, then I guess if you're going to pair him with Ashurbanipal, you want him as the secondary so that you can boost this massive damage. But then if you're going to use a leadership commander as the primary, I mean, the talents on this 3 are definitely not that great, and the other 3 he has is versatility, which is basically the worst one. So on paper it seems like a lot of, shenanigans can be done with Philip. However, the problem is, from a free-to-play low spender perspective, because his damage reduction and damage increase up to 5 nearby allied or friendly troops, so you already want to have multiple marches, preferably like 5 marches on the field, so that you can get the best out of this active skill. Yes, you are going to be buffing your alliance members, but I don't know, it is very similar to Belisarius actually. Like, if you want to get the best out of Prime Belisarius, just like Philip, you already want to have like 5 marches on the field. And I don't think it's very realistic for a free-to-play or low spender to have 5 marches already on the field, unless you've been playing the game for like quite some time. So even though I think he looks pretty decent, I think his kit is, at least I want to say, super interesting. Unless you already have your other field marches ready, you obviously won't be able to get the best out of him. I forgot to mention other possible pairings, and if we go back to archers again, I think he can be paired pretty well with Shajar, because on her 3rd skill it says whenever their troop uses an active skill, it mighty heals up to 3 nearby allied or friendly troops for a large portion of their slightly wounded units. So Shajar gets extra benefit, extra healing from casting active skills more frequently. So this could certainly be another decent pairing, and as we already discussed in the Philip's kit, he provides 20% march speed for every troop type, yes, but 35% health specifically for archers. And of course, Ragnar should be super broken as well, because if I'm not mistaken, he deals the highest AoE damage in the game, and imagine increasing that damage by 40%. So Philip primary, Ragnar secondary could be like an insanely hard-hitting march. And as you can see from the pair, I think it's not going to be great for cavalry, at least the current ones. If they release on the next cavalry cycle a combo attack cavalry commander, the only commander that has it right now in their skill kit is Liu Che, but there are rumors about combo attack cavalry commanders coming up in future, and we also have this Delta formation. They release it out of nowhere, and we basically have no reason to use it right now. And I think they might release a cavalry commander with combo attack that's going to use the Delta formation, and then maybe due to his 3rd skill, instant cast skill, he might be good with the upcoming cavalry if they indeed release a combo attack cavalry commander. But if that happens, this means the next cav commander is not going to pair well with old cavalry commanders, and I do have a 5515 Joan of Arc waiting patiently for a high skill damage AoE cavalry open field commander. Well, we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think is it worth investing on Philip II. I see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.